Australians are being flooded with online gambling ads. Across our TV screens, we're being saturated with an average of more than 2,000 ads per day, urging viewers to bet big and win.
Quit being a spectator and start being a player.
The reality is that Australians are losing big by gambling, but free-to-air players say they'll also lose heavily if the government pushes ahead with a complete gambling advertising ban.
The free TV industry does not support a ban on gambling advertising.
Others argue the impact of the revenue loss is being overstated.
It is a lot of money to lose, I'm not denying that at all, but at the same time, the way markets change and evolve, it will be replaced.
It's estimated free-to-air networks will lose about $240 million. Another $35 million will be lost by media companies taking ads online. The impact will be less than 10% of their revenue. Channel 7 would lose about $106 million, or 7% of its annual turnover, while Channel 9 would lose about $115 million, or 9%. Contrast that with the advertising spent on retail, which is more than $2.5 billion. Bridget Fair argues with more competition from media giants like Facebook and Google, it's not easy to find new funding sources.
Last year, the advertising market declined just over 8% year on year, and that's across all categories. So it's not the same as when we had a conversation, for instance, around tobacco advertising, where the overall market was increasing, and you can replace one lost revenue stream with another stream from other advertisers.
But former marketing executive Andrew Hughes says media companies will innovate.
Women's sport's growing quite rapidly in Australia. We saw that with the success, for example, of Matildas. Channel 7 got those rights for hardly anything. And yet they made a lot of money out of the revenue from Matildas doing very well at the World Cup. And the same with how women's AFL and NRL are both growing quite rapidly. They will replace the revenue they're losing.
The government's under pressure to stop the harm that online gambling causes and is considering 31 recommendations from a Senate inquiry headed by the late Peta Murphy last year. It suggested a blanket ban on gambling advertisements in Australia within 3 years. Independent MPs say this issue requires nothing short of an outright ban and want a conscience vote.
To be asked to vote on effectively whether or not we put the commercial interests of media companies ahead of the safety of our children, then in my mind that is a matter of morality. It's a matter for my conscience.
After outcry from media companies, insiders say the government's considering a watered-down version of the plan that would still allow ads during prime-time viewing hours. A plan leaked to the media suggests a cap of 2 gambling ads per hour on each free-to-air channel until 10 p.m. and a blackout an hour before and after live sport.
It would be a worse option because people have still been exposed to the ads. And this is why the damage has been done.
The government says it's continuing to consult with stakeholders, but the smart money appears to be on a partial ban.